opponent? I mean, is it just that you need to go take it to him? You're going to fight your fight. He's in your hometown. I mean, how's the approach with you and him?
My approach is always the same. It's going to be what it's going to be regardless. I'm coming to get the knockout. You know what I mean? I'm pushing for the knockout because I want to solidify the win. We all know, you read the stats, I'm a mandatory challenger for the WBO. The win out of Gilberto Ramirez and Arthur Abraham on April 9th, I get the win out of them, one of them guys. I don't care who wins. They got to see me. So the approach for this fight is a lot different. I train extremely hard. You know, the fight before the actual title fight is the one that we all gotta do extra for. Because like I said, this guy coming to win. And I care nothing about him. I approach this fight, I approach everything else. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah. What about? I don't want to say looking past this fight, but this puts you in an area where you can take that next step, so that people say, "Hey, this is Jesse Hart. We know all about him now."
Well, I like to acknowledge that question. People been knew about Jesse Hart. I didn't know I was coming, or they knew I was going to be here. I mean, this fight is only going to prove that I'm one of the best super middleweights in the world, if not the best. You know, after this fight, like I said, I'm the mandatory challenger for the WBO. But we got to get through this fight first, and that's why this fight is so important. That's why I'm pushing for a spectacular win in spectacular fashion. I want to solidify my names with the greats, and this is one that on the stage I can do that on.
Anybody else?
How do you guard against not looking ahead?
Guard not looking ahead is my dad always said you can't look ahead, you gotta look what's in front of you. That's where guys lose it all at. They start looking ahead of themselves. They start getting ahead of themselves and not looking what's directly in front of them. I'm looking right now, my main mission is Deshaun Johnson. It's not no other person. I mean, I've dedicated my life to this man for 8 weeks now. That's the only man that I want to bring to the demise. I studied him, I watched him. He had my whole life for 8 weeks. I had to take my life away from my family, my daughter, my wife, my mother, brother. I dedicated my life to one man, and that's Deshaun Johnson.
Where do you train at?
I train right here, and I train some days now ABC.
What do you know about him, and what do you expect in the fight?
We know he's a fighter. Come to fight, he had a nice upset against Mike Garbinsky, his last fight, who originally was the challenger, I was supposed to fight, but he had an upset. I mean, but it ain't gonna be no upset here. I mean, he's coming in Philadelphia. My dad, you know what I mean? My dad is gonna start to show off. That's extra motivation. Me and my dad fighting on the same card. Y'all get that first. Cyclone and his son, we fighting on the same card that night.
Okay.
Both promoted by Russell Phelps. Yeah. That's history.
Talking about your dad, I mean, you know, do you ever wish that a time could return and you could be transported like back to the 1980s when they used to have fights at the Spectrum would draw 10, 12,000 people, and you know, they still had great Philadelphia fighters, but they were having big fights in Philadelphia.
I want to say about that. I wish I was back in that era, and I wish that I could, you know, like I said, the mission with me was always to be one of the greatest Philadelphia fighters to ever lace up a pair of gloves. That was the inspiration first. I kept hearing about how great my dad was. I kept hearing about how great Georgie Benton was. I kept hearing about how great Benny Briscoe was. I kept hearing, you know what I mean? These different guys, Jesse Joe Harris. I always said, you know, I always trained like, if I was a 15-round fighter, that's what era that I would want to be from. No matter what happens, I just felt like, you know, my dad is from that era, and that's the mindset I have, and that's why these new guys come along and I dominate so well. I never lost a round because I got that old school mentality. I'm a 15-round fighter in my mind. I'm not a 12-round. I'm not a modern day dude, man. I'm a different type of dude.
Well, you coming from a famous boxing background, well-known in Philadelphia. You mentioned a lot that you want to be part of the thing with the greats. What do you think sets you apart from other fighters in Philadelphia today?
I think this event right here. This event right here sets me apart. Sold out. We got standing room only tickets. Russell Phelps, tremendous job. Bam Rogers. This what sets us apart. This what sets us apart from any fighter in Philadelphia that you name. Jesse sold the arena out. No matter how many, you know what I mean? We got, like I said, nobody else is fighting here.
You're taking the big stance because you had the chance to be on one of the undercard, but you wanted to do your own thing.
Right.
How do you think that's going to prepare for you down the line?
It don't matter to me. I don't care what nobody says. I did what I wanted to do. Like I said, I wanted to bring it home for the fight fans. this is something I wanted to do. Nobody, like I said, what other fighter in Philadelphia, I'm not knocking them, but what fighter have wanted to bring it back? If you look at any other top fighter, Philadelphia fighters, they all fighting in different places. LA, you got Arizona, you name it, none of them brung here. I told Bob and Carl Moretti that I wanted to fight here, and they made it happen. So people not looking at acknowledging that, and we got Russell as the co-promoter, and we got Eric. It wasn't just me by myself. It was business had to be done to make this happen, and it was my call at the final end. What did I want to do? Bob called me personally. Jesse, what do you want to do? And I said I want to work with Russell, and I want to bring it back home, and that's what it was.
So Jesse, good luck with your upcoming fight. Speaking of Hank Lundy, what was your reaction to that fight against Terrence Crawford?
I like to talk about to speak on that subject. I think Hank went out there and did his best. I think Hank gave it all he had. I'm not knocking nobody, but when you get up against a guy that can adapt to anything, such as a Terrence Crawford fighter, a bigger guy, a bigger, stronger fighter, a real, true 140-pounder. Hank Lundy is a 35-pounder. I mean, like I said, I'm not taking no credit away from Crawford, but nobody wanted to fight him. And Hank stepped up. That's the Philadelphia heart. Nobody acknowledged that, and I don't like. That's the part I don't like. People say he got stopped, he did this. People don't acknowledge that Philadelphia heart. We got heart. When nobody want to fight somebody, we step in the ring with them. People don't want to, and that's what I don't like about that.
Would you like, for a time to come, win a title, whatever, to go to Bob Arum and, Todd Goff and say, hey, I want a title fight at the Wells Fargo Center. I mean, and Hopkins fought once for a title fight here. Danny Garcia, like you said, doesn't fight here. Would you like to be able to do that and sort of replicate what happened with your dad and Briscoe and those guys back in the day? This show is setting the trend for that. This show right here is setting the trend for that. I'm bringing boxing back. If nobody else fight here, you guarantee Jesse Hart is going to have a world title fight here. And that's what this show boils down to. That's why we got Pelks on board. That's why my dad is in play. That's why its whole promotion is in play for after I win a title. It's just a time of win. After I win a title, I'm bringing it back to Philadelphia. I refuse to fight in other people's hometowns and cities and give everybody else a play. When I got my own fan right here, if Terrence Crawford do it, why not Jesse Hart should do it?
That's right.
Jesse, what if anything did you do differently during training for this fight?
Man, basically nothing, man. We've been just doing what we do. We haven't seen me lose a round yet. So when I lose a round, then I change up my training regimen. Then I stop getting up at 5 in the morning and getting out there on that Kelly Drive. Rain, sleet, hella snow, I'm out there. You bet your ass you come out there, I'm out there running. It's not until I get beat, until I lose a round, matter of fact, I will not change my training regimen. Danny Davis, Fred Jenkins, my father, Corey McDonald, my whole team that's my team. And I haven't done nothing different this training camp. Nothing. You gotta beat me how I am first. We gotta see what they can deal with, how Jesse Hart reacts to losing a round first. Jesse Hart has yet to lose a round in the professional boxing ranks.
What do you think will happen when you're in a fight? Because it's going to happen, and you lose a round, or you're having a bad fight, you're having a tough night. You've had a good run, so it's going to happen. Are you ready for that? And how do you prepare yourself for something like that?
People don't understand. By me losing my brother Damon to the streets and the success, I feel like I lost already. And I kept fighting, I prevailed. I kept prevailing. I'm here today before you guys, and I stand before you guys, and I say I'm here prevailing. I stood up to adversity.